So right now, Frontline is amazing in the sense that as we stream, we also really find that people are sticking with us as well. And the other really encouraging thing is that they're sharing. So I want to just play something briefly for you.
دا لفظ دی جهاد جهاد څه ته وایي جهاد چې د الله تعالی دین او د الله کلمه چې دی نو په ټولو خلکو باندې دپاره شي ځکه الله فرمایي چې تاسو د دې خلکو سره جهاد وکئ د هغه پورې حتی لا تکونه فتنه چې تر دې پورې چې شرک او کفر او فتنه چې دا په جهان کې پاتې نه شي امرأتین یا یو زنانه دپاره چې د هغې سره نکاح د هغو د پاسه دې ته څه نوم ویلی کېږي کلاشنکوف بل ساده پښتو کې موږ دې ته څه نوم وایو ماشین دا د څه شي لپاره موږ راغستی دی د حفاظت دپاره او د کومو خلکو سرونه په دې باندې موږ او تاسو ولو کافر او امرأتین یا یو زنانه دپاره یتزوجها دستي ګرنیټ دستي معنی لاسي بم دا د څه شي لپاره استعمالیږي دې طریقه کار تا ته معلوم دی دا کړی ته وباسي بیا به څه کوې بیا به ګزارې او بیا به څه کوې منصوره دې ته څه نوم ویلی کېږي دا د کوم ځای جوړه ده چین جوړه څو ډزې کوي شپږ دس چې پکې څنګه نیسي شاباس په ولاړه ته پرې ډز وکړه هسې ونیسه پورته ډز وکړه ماشه دا ونیسه دې باندې خلک ډز څنګه کوي ډز پوزیشن وکړه
So that's a very eerie clip. The reason I wanted to show it to you is that it's a really great example of how we started with this idea of social video. And this is essentially a scene that was in one of our big documentaries that was looking at the rise of ISIS inside Afghanistan. It was a really amazing film. It was a long-form effort, but things were happening very quickly. So as a team, we decided to actually create a shorter film that in part becomes promotional for the film itself, right? But is also a piece of journalism in its own right. And one of the great things that we can do now is that we can embed something like that inside a really important written piece that gives you context and understanding about really how this region has changed. And so this piece actually had millions and millions of views and was shared by tens and tens of thousands of people. And what we found was a new voice in social video. The other great news for us as a broadcast was that this piece really drove people to watch the film itself, and that film really did better on television than most films do that are about international affairs. And so we started to think, and this is really myself and Pam Johnson and our partner Carla Boras as well, the three of us were putting our heads together to say, so how do these mediums talk to each other? Now, if you guys have grandchildren or children, you know that everybody's on social media. Can you just nod if you know that? Yeah, so I am also on social media, but not like that. I'm too busy. But what we find is that people, we find them there, we're grabbing them and saying, hey, you know, take a look and take a taste. And then we're going to bring you across to this really important universe of longer form journalism. And what's been remarkable is over the last year, we've seen that go up by about 60 to 70%. And so that's a huge surge if you think about it. This is not just for Trump-related material. So every news organization has seen a big uptick in their ratings, frankly. But what Frontline has seen across the board now, this type of growth that spans from the work we do on poverty to the work we do on politics, for sure, And then a lot of the most important work that we do that's investigative, that you wouldn't expect a really big audience for, is now growing in these environments, and they're talking to each other. So we felt that this was a space to really bet on and to say, you know what, the best thing we can do is to do responsible journalism in these spaces for the people who are on these platforms, who really see these platforms as a news source. And that's one of the things that we care the most about, is when we're on these other platforms, again, that our DNA is with it, but that also we're natively publishing there. And by that, I mean that we're really actually producing for the platform. And what you saw on the screen was text. The reason is because most people are on their mobile phones when they're on Facebook, and they're not turning on their audio. So now that sounds crazy. And for a filmmaker, it's very frustrating to think people aren't even listening, right? But it's true, people are looking. But you better believe that then they come to our long-form films, and then they watch the real deal. And that's been really exciting. The other area of growth, which I've been really proud of the work that this team has done, is to now originally produce short form videos in this space that are doing really great in their own right. And so we're doing a combination of work that's related to the films and work that's really, really original and for this platform. And the growth in the youth audience is huge, while we're still retaining our traditional and very big and strong audience on broadcast. So this is a win-win for us in our world. So the really amazing epiphany that I would say, and I only say that because in hindsight it seems an obvious one, is that when you look at this slide, why it's important to me is that my main goal and my main purpose is making sure that our long-form documentaries remain strong and robust and remain seen and become a big part of the American dialogue right now. And what we have found is that these other platforms help us. So a lot of people have said, why do you emphasize the other platforms so much? And I say, because they are in fact talking to our main platform, which is both television, right, where you find us on WGBH, but also where you find us on the web. So I want to give you a sense of how much bigger we are this year than last year. This is a really encouraging trend. As you can see, we've really gotten bigger across all of these platforms. One of the biggest things that we are excited by is that you can see, obviously, Facebook is huge. Facebook audience for a lot of us in public media is very important. It's also ad-free for us right now, which is important to me, is that we try for as long as we can to remain as non-commercial as possible on these platforms. And so in the sense that we're not giving business to Facebook at this point, we are saying that we're on their platforms and we're in a relationship with them in the sense that we're talking to each other, they're educating us, but for now we'll remain non-commercial on Facebook. The same is true for YouTube, in fact, and we can talk about this after. And some of the most important conversations with people who run these companies, they say what they really want is legitimate content. So they're welcoming us as well. We can talk about the complications of that after my talk. So as you can see, we're very healthy and growing. I think one of the most encouraging signs is our web streams. We really didn't expect our web streams to go up that much, and we are really thrilled. So if you look at the OTT, which is one of the over-the-top ideas, so some of you may use some of these devices, this is a really important indication that Frontline will be surviving through the disruption that we're seeing from people who are watching us in live TV form to people who are in large part now saying, you know what, I don't really want to watch Frontline at 10 o'clock on Tuesday night. I'd prefer to watch Frontline at 7 p.m. when I'm actually, eating my dinner or whatever I want to do. You have the flexibility. How many of you actually record us and watch us after the broadcast? Okay, that's about right. So you guys are really right down our audience. That's great. About a third of you time shift us. So the word time shifting, for those of you who don't do it, it just means that you decide, I'm not going to watch you live, but I'm going to watch you at a time that works for me and my schedule. And that's how I watch television now, except for when Sessions is giving his testimony, or, of course, all the amazing theater that we're seeing right now. I wanted to share another film with you, a short film that was very powerful to me. We did a very big film called Exodus this year. I hope some of you saw it. If you didn't, as you'll know by the end of this, surely you can watch us online. And it was a 2-hour effort to really document people coming into Europe and their travels into Europe. And it was one of the more passionate projects for us. It was very character driven, but I think it delivered on a human level. And this is a scene from the film that we found that we remade actually for digital and was really successful, and we believe was really additive in the conversation about refugees. And it's an example, again, of how we're telling shorter form. And frankly, it's very useful for big talks like this because it's very hard for me to show you a whole 2-hour film. So we're finding that this is actually great for live audiences too, is to say, hey, here's a taste of what we do. So here's a taste of what we do.
There was a kid who was sitting right in front of me on the boat. I mean, we're young men. We can do it, but to see that kids are going through this and they're pleading for you to help them, to witness that is just hard.
We're still waiting for the truck.
What scared me the most is that they asked one of the refugees, come, we will train you on how to operate the engine. And they trained him in like 3 minutes.
Oh my God.
Nobody wants to leave their country and risk dying in the sea. But when it becomes impossible to live in your own country, people will do desperate things.
So that was produced again by our digital video team, and I don't believe Carla Barras is here tonight, but she leads a team of people who are really amazing video makers, and a lot of them aspire to be filmmakers, and they produce short form right now, but I can already tell a couple of them are going to be amazing long form filmmakers if they choose that.